Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. And my goal is to save you time and money by telling you the inside scoop on filmmaking quality and content. So you can decide whether or not you want to spend time or money or both watching a particular film. So today, the movie I'm reviewing is called Dragonkeeper. This gorgeous animation is now playing on Fandango at Home, Amazon Prime, and Apple TV. The film is PG and is very family friendly. It's an hour and 38 minutes long, and my overall movie review mom grade is a B. So, first, I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell. Then I'll point out things that I liked, then things that I didn't like. I'll offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting lines, funny lines, and we'll finish up with recommendations for other films that are sort of similar. But first, I wanted to introduce you to today's featured sponsored product. It is a mommy with baby plush dragons because the story is about a mother and her baby dragon. Well, the father too, actually. But anyway, I thought these sort of look like the ones in the movie. But if your kids watch this movie, they will love these cute little plushies. Anyway, it's an Amazon link. It's in the description below. It won't cost you any more to get it, but Amazon will send me a few little pretty pennies to thank me for telling you about this cute product. All right, back to the movie. In a nutshell, the fate of ancient China rests on the shoulders of one young girl who must find the last remaining dragon egg and fulfill her destiny. Dun dun dun. This family-friendly animation is based on the book Dragonkeeper, written by Carole Wilkinson. The movie was directed by Jianping Li and Salvador Simo. Writing credits go to Carole Wilkinson, of course, Pablo Castrillo, and Ignacio Ferreras. Seems weird to mix these Chinese names with Spanish, but actually the film was made in Spain. And in fact, the film has been nominated for Best Spanish Film at the Malaga Spanish Film Festival. I lived in Spain for 2 years, twice. I love Spain. So kudos to the team. So let me give you some quick tips for parents. There is talk of energetic chi, so you might need to explain to them what chi is all about. There is some bullying portrayed. People get hurt. Some people are servants and they are not treated very well. A girl sticks her tongue out at someone. And I always think that that's such a weird thing. Don't you think that's a weird thing to show that you're mad at somebody? As a young girl, I even thought that was weird. But anyway, back to the tips for parents. There are some creepy venomous spiders. There are some scary neocromancers and a demon guy that might frighten very young children. We see a mouse throw up and soldiers fight with swords and arrows. So some of the themes that are illustrated very well are power, control, imperial dragons of China, and extinct animals. Now, and about China, I've been to China many, many times on business trips and have fallen in love with the country. Not necessarily the government, but the country itself. And so I love watching movies about China. I took my two youngest sons with me on my very first trip when I was doing a book tour, and they both instantly became enamored with China as well. So much so that one of them even married a lovely young woman from Hong Kong. And I now have a grandson who is half Chinese and totally adorable, with another grandson arriving in September. And then the other son returned to China several times, sometimes with me on my tours, and sometimes one time he spent a year and a half teaching English at a school in China. Anyway, we love China. So in other words, I was really excited to see this movie that features China. So here's the list of other things that I also really liked about this movie. The animation is quite sophisticated and just gorgeous to look at. The design of the fabrics is especially impressive and caught my eye as it moves realistically as the people wearing that fabric move around. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. The movie shows the imperial palace of the Chinese emperor. And I got to visit that palace in Beijing a few years ago on one of those trips. It is absolutely gigantic. And it goes on and on and on as you walk through it. You're just like, wow, when is this thing going to end? Very impressive. The musical score is also lovely, and it would have been nice to include a few more Chinese elements to it, but still, it's just a lovely background. It supports the emotion in certain scenes, but it definitely doesn't overpower, I don't think, the scenes. The color palette includes glowy, magical features. There's a lot of action, and the young dragon keeper has a cute sidekick that little kids are absolutely going to love. Fair warning, parents, your kids are probably going to want one. The voice talents in the English version include Bill Nye. I adore him. Bill Bailey, Naomi Yang, Anthony Howell, and Maya Lene Griffiths. So here's the list of things that I didn't like or just thought could have been done differently or better. So if you don't like the sound of babies crying, you're going to be very uncomfortable during the first 5 minutes of the film. Ping is the young dragon keeper, the young girl. So we should love her, right? But she has this ungrateful, whining personality that drove me nuts at times. Really, up through Act 1 and Act 2, I was like, I want to really like this girl, but she's super annoying. Cute, but annoying. And then by Act 3, I was with the program and I liked her. It seemed odd to me to see these Chinese characters with British accents, but that was just the English language version. There's a scene when the dragon and the dragon keeper fall off of a bridge almost to their death. Only minutes prior, we saw them flying. So why didn't they just fly to cross over that bridge? The whole time I'm thinking, wait a minute, what? There's so much exposition explaining what's happening and why it's happening and what happened before and on and on. And I get that because it's a whole universe that we don't know and have to figure out what's going on in this world. But it gets very sloggy, if you know what I mean. Now, whenever I watch movies, I write down funny lines and interesting lines simply to share them with you so you can get a taste and feel for the dialogue. And you can see them all in my written review at moviereviewmom.com. But I'll share some of them with you right now. Now, for funny lines, I actually didn't write down any because the humor is mostly physical or situational. I never found myself really laughing out loud. But there were a lot of very interesting lines that are good themes and good lessons that you can point out to your kids if you watch this movie with them. So first of all, there's an older mother at the very beginning, and I tried to find her name and even the voice character for her, but she has such a minor role, significant in her son's life, but we only see her on screen for a short time. Anyway, it's an old mother who's dying, and she says to her son, who is a main character in the movie, she says, "Don't make my mistake. Don't worry about how you're going to die. Worry about how you're going to live." And I just thought, oh, that's such a great line and such great advice for all of us. Now, Zhao is another character who says, you can't change destiny. And yet, destiny and our ability to sort of change it is a big theme of the film. Now, the male dragon, the father of this little dragon egg that needs to be found and protected, is voiced by Bill Nye. And he says some interesting lines that made me really stop and think, what is it that they're trying to say and teach our children in these lines? So the first one is, he says to Ping, the young girl, sometimes the wider road makes the journey longer as they're trying to travel, and she wants to go one way and he wants to go another way. And I thought it was interesting because if you spend your life in the wide areas of exploring and experimenting and making mistakes, that journey isn't pushing forward as much maybe as if you chose the path, chose and made good decisions and moved forward. That was sort of my take on it. And then another interesting line that he says, as this dragon is, there are questions that should not be answered because the answers need to be found. And I thought that was interesting. Now, at the very beginning, I'm thinking, why doesn't this dragon just explain the whole deal to this girl so she knows what's happening? And he doesn't. She has to slowly discover those things. Well, it would have made the movie much shorter, obviously, if he had just said what needed to be done. But that's kind of true in our life as well. Now, whenever I watch movies, I instantly think of other movies that are similar, and I want to share them with you. And so two of these, well, let me start with the first one. The first one is called Wish Dragon, and it also features China in a lovely way, and it features a dragon. And then the second one is called Raya and the Last Dragon. Now, it's not in China, it's in Indonesia, so Asia generally, so it's got the Asian vibe, but beautiful cinema or beautiful animation, specifically with water, because this is a dragon that really lives in the water. And so I was really impressed with that animation, and the story is very sweet as well. So definitely check those out. You might enjoy watching those as a family as well. All right, when you get a minute, give this video a thumbs up if it helped you decide whether or not you want to watch this as a family. Comment down below. I always respond to everybody, and subscribe, of course, so that more families can find my reviews. When you get a minute, run over to social media. I've got a Facebook group called Movie Review Mom, and I'm on Instagram and Twitter and all of the other social media feeds. So have a fantastic day, and I hope you enjoy this movie, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.